Hey, greetings there, everyone. It is GleeCon back at you again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. On our last one, we did our final starting character playthrough where we picked up a cleric, a priest, I guess. A little bit Dungeons and Dragons here as we look at the D&D book, and we just kind of did a few cleric-specific quests for the human starting zone, but then kind of rushed through the rest, and we'll kind of pick up with the next round of quest areas next, which will be kind of like the second questing zones for each character. But we also have been reading this Dungeons and Dragons setting here. It's called Lands of Mystery, and it's one supposedly by Bran Bronzebeard, or it's written in his voice, and it's a description of the different lands of Kalimdor and beyond, everything except the Eastern Kingdoms. In the voice of Bran Bronzebeard. So stay a while and listen as we continue with wrapping up the fourth chapter as he describes Zandalar as he saw it. And this is why it's non-canon, because this hasn't been fully fleshed out yet. So the capital already was decided to be Zuldazar, though. So that's interesting. It's got a sizable capital, 17,000, which is most of the overall population. It's 100% troll. No other races live here. Very interesting. I don't think we've seen a place. Maybe that's 100% something. And King Rostakhan does rule this land, and that's also interesting in that stays the same too. I mean, now what is her name? Ashanti or something like that. She is now the leader, but up until definitely at this time, he would have been the leader. And they're independent, for they have not joined the Horde yet. I winged my way toward Zandalar from the Isle of Kazan, holding tight to Griffin with one gloved hand. I learned in Kazan that Zandalar is home to many trolls, so I resolved to limber up my axe arm before striking into the jungle. As the island resolved out of the mist, I could see that two enormous mountains dominated it, one snow-capped for at least a third of its height. Aside from these two megaliths, green blanketed the landscape. As I flew closer, I saw something strange about one of the mountains. Flying closer, I realized that my initial impression was wrong. This was not a mountain. It was a great series of structures, ziggurats, troll work. They have carved a city out of stepped pyramids, and it rises as high as a mountain. I circled the island at low altitude and saw numerous other smaller ziggurats poking their heads out of the foliage. Trolls fished and hunted on the shores. Colorful birds and larger, more fantastic flying beasts, cowaddle, called and swooped among the treetops. No ports. No towns for visitors, not even any goblin shops. The only way for an individual to get here is by personal watercraft or flying mount, and then you have to deal with the trolls. I found a secluded clearing near the northeast shore, landed and bid Griffin to keep hidden. Then I limbered up. So that's changed a bit. They're not as isolationist. Zandalar is a large island northeast of Kazan and south of the Broken Isles. See, and that's also... I think that's changed. I think they've moved that around, although I'd have to double check. Those islands, that island is, I want to say it's north of the Broken Isles, but I might be off. Westfall on the mainland is a ways to the northeast. Okay, that makes sense. People and culture. Trolls dominate Zandalar, and it was inevitable that I clashed with them, and I did so numerous times. I learned what I could from my captured prisoners before putting them out of their misery. He just goes to their land and starts killing them. As the trolls' various cultures fascinate me, I was keen to learn more about this land. Apparently, all trolls from jungle to ice consider Zandalar their homeland. It is neutral territory for their kind, so trolls don't battle each other when on Zandalar. The same courtesy doesn't extend toward other races, though, and Zandalar's trolls are a wicked and voodoo-worshipping bunch who delight in slaying their enemies and devouring their remains. As such, not even goblin merchants are safe on this island, and visitors face stalking, axe, and spear-wielding danger from every green shadow. Every 6 years, trolls from all tribes from all over the world congregate in Zandalar to discuss matters that affect all trolls. Desert and ice trolls rub shoulders with jungle and forest trolls. They meet at Zuldazar, their capital city, the one that looks like a mountain. I wonder if that's still true. That's part of the canon. Most of the native trolls here are jungle trolls, though ice trolls live atop Mount Magamba's snowy peak. The trolls here are bigger, stronger, and nastier than all other trolls, almost. The Drakari of Northrend are a bit bigger. King Rostakon, an ancient and formidable witch doctor and keeper of troll lore, rules from Zuldazar. I suppose one could call him the king of all trolls throughout the world, but I don't think that's an entirely accurate description. Trolls often have trouble working with each other despite the conferences on Zandalar. Geography. Zandalar is tropical and lush. Mount Magamba is by far the highest peak on the island, rising from its center. Troll ziggurats, the domains of troll shamans, priests, and witch doctors, are scattered throughout the jungle, as are troll totems and huts. Also, I saw a few statues of snakes throughout the jungle, particularly giant anacondas. I wondered at these. Did they represent the trolls' strange gods? Unfortunately, I did not solve this mystery this time around, so we don't have the Loa yet, really. Although I do think they've mentioned it throughout these books. I guess Bran just doesn't know what Loa are. Zandalar boasts impressive wildlife as well and is a prime hunting ground. Bright fish, hermit crabs, birds, and monkeys dwell in the waters or jungle. In addition, more interesting prey attracts the discerning hunter. Tigers, hydras, lions, and coatl. A few makrua inhabit the area as well. Warm weather and rain are constant except on Magamba, where the rain turns to snow. Mount Magamba. This enormous mountain towers over the jungle northwest of Zuldazar. Much of it is covered with snow and cold despite the tropical weather below. Ice trolls dwell here, and their totems, chiseled of solid ice, are scattered throughout. See, that's something I don't believe is still on there. I don't think there's any iciness in Zandalar. Sites and settlements. Trolls rule here, and small family or individual dwellings appear throughout the jungle. Trolls range through Zandalar, hunting, fishing, and trapping. Zuldazar, the main city, Zandalar's capital, is built into a series of ziggurats. From a distance, I swear it looks like a towering mountain, though in retrospect, its lack of snow should have tipped me off. Zuldazar includes standard troll architecture. It features a winding tiered structure of walls and buildings. Thousands of cannibalistic jungle trolls inhabit these ziggurats, making it a difficult prospect for a lone dwarf. Zuldazar is the seat of King Rostakon and hosts a gathering of all the troll tribes every 6 years. The trolls meet to share information and plot, I imagine. Let's read about King Rostakon, who's 20th level. He's pretty powerful. He's a male jungle troll, also a witch doctor. This troll is ancient and hoary, but his wire-hard muscles speak to his strength. A string of shrunken heads hangs from his neck, and a humanoid skull is impaled on his spear. I don't know if he's really that old-looking still, but maybe. Rostakon is king of all Azeroth's trolls, rarely enters combat when not accompanied by a host of barbarians, warriors, shamans, witch doctors, and other support. He prefers to remain out of melee, decimating his foes from a distance with his spells. If he has time to prepare before battle, he doles out potions and alchemical concoctions to his elite, brews to increase their defenses and combat efficacy. History. Millennia after the Sundering was the age of discovery, when the young races explored the world and unearthed some of its secrets. According to the trolls I spoke to, Zandalar was one of the first, if not the first, permanent strongholds that the trolls established. Eventually, they ranged out from the South Seas into the eastern continents, creating an empire and clashing with elves and humans for control of land. As we know, the humans and elves defeated the trolls with the help of magic and alliances, toppling their empire and almost eliminating the entire race. Okay, and that's been retconned because now, if you remember from Chronicles, the Zandalari were the original mass race that pretty much dominated the entire world and existed far before the Sundering. And their land as the seat in Zuldazar also existed before it and still stayed there after the Sundering. And it's just that the Sundering more even physically separated the trolls from one another. We will learn more about that when we continue our asides and look through some of the website tabs, posts and stuff. Out of hatred for their ancient foes, forest trolls allied with the orcs in the Second War. After their horde's defeat, many trolls retreated back to Zandalar, re-establishing it as the center of their civilization. Now, with Zandalar a solid center and its satellite stronghold of Zul'Grub and Stranglethorn Vale and Zul'Aman in northeast Lordaeron, the trolls aim to retake their former lands and recreate their ancient empire. They'll have to defeat the Scourge and a host of other enemies to do it. So, this, I'm not sure if that's accurate, is Zul'Grub and Zul'Aman, are they Zandalari strongholds? We shall see. Adventures. The troll capital contains ancient secrets and sinister plots. Fantastic creatures also draw adventurers to Zandalar. Secret Agent Troll. The Alliance uses magic items to disguise a group of adventurers as jungle trolls. It sends this band to Zandalar for one of the 6-year troll gatherings. The hero's job is to learn anything they can about the trolls and their plots without being discovered. If they get a chance, they are also to discreetly determine if the trolls could become allies. Dark allies, but war makes strange bedfellows against the Scourge, Burning Legion, Naga, and or Forsaken. Before they head out on this mission, an archmage named Lias takes the heroes aside and asks them if they could also check the Zuldazar vaults for a collection of ancient troll artifacts that supposedly existed in the days of the Troll Empire. If these items do lie in the vaults, Lias would love to study them. Yeah, I feel like that doesn't do a lot for me, but it would be interesting. Imagine if you could have, like, trolls, Zandalari trolls, as part of the Alliance. Neat. Okay, everyone. We've got another episode in the pipe, 5x5, and as always, thanks so much for watching and for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time on Lore of Warcraft.